Hello, this is Spellsquires MTG. Today I have another Sporefrog Shenanigans video, episode 9. We have a face-off between Urza, Lord High Artificer, Artifact Egg deck, Chulane, Ten of Tails, which is creatures, Osgir the Reconstructor, which is also an artifact deck. Let's get on with the game. Jack plays an island, he taps it to play a Terrarian, and it comes into play tapped. Alec plays a forest after drawing, he plays a Sol Ring, then casts Lightning Greaves. I play a Plains and pass. Jack untaps, draws. Jack plays a Tormod's Crypt, and I'm very grumpy. He plays an island, but hides it. Alec untaps, draws. He pays 1 to cast Land Rolls. Then he equips Lightning Greaves. He plays a Plains and passes. I draw. I play a Boros Garrison, bouncing a Plains to my hand, and discard a Wheel of Misfortune, due to me reaching my maximum hand size. Jack draws. He plays an island. He pays 2, sacrifices Terrarian. He draws a card. He gets 2 blue mana. Adds another blue to cast Commander Sphere. And then Jack cheats and plays another land, not that it really matters, because he does not play one next turn. Alec draws. He plays Rubinia Soulsinger. After attaching Lightning Greaves, he passes, I draw. I play the Plains I played earlier. I pay 2, floating a red to cast Knight of the White Orchid. I add 1 to cast Ichorel Spring, and I draw a card. Jack untaps. Draws. He taps 4 to play Urza. In response to Urza's ETB, Alec taps Rubinia. Jack floats some mana with Urza. Alec then steals Urza. He then plays a Voyager Staff and passes. Alec untaps. Draws, and Alec plays Primeval Bounty. I untap, draw. I play Osgir, then pass. Jack untaps. Draws. Jack taps 3 to cast Golem's Foundry. And then cast Conjurer's Bauble. Golem Foundry gets a counter. Jack then attacks Alec for 6 with his Urza Construct. Then Jack sacrifices Conjurer's Bauble and draws a card. He plays an island for turn. He floats a blue mana of Commander Sphere, sacrifices it to draw a card. Jack then sacrifices Voyager Staff and blinks my Knight of the White Orchid. Because Jack has 5 lands, I go and find a land. After passing, Alec taps 3, casts Harrow, sacrifices a land, and he makes a 3/3 beast with Primeval Bounty. Then he goes to find a Plains and a forest on Specified untapped, and he gains 6 life because of Primeval Bounty. Alec then taps 5 to cast Chulane, makes a 3/3 beast. Then he passes. On my end step, I tap 1 with my commander to sacrifice a Wellspring. I then untap and draw. I play a Phyrexia's Call. I pay 3 to cast Quicksmith Genius. I cast a Scrap Trawler. I discard a card and draw a card. I then pass. Jack draws for turn and untaps. Jack taps 4 to cast Chemist Insight and draws 2. Alec untaps and draws. Plays an Odozorous Chancery. Bounces the land back to his hand and gains 3 life. He then passes. I untap. Draw. I tap my commander and pay 2 to exile Ichor Wellspring from my graveyard. I get 2 token copies of it. They enter the battlefield, and I draw the 2 from Ichor Wellspring first, and then decide to resolve Quicksmith Genius. I discard 2, then draw 2 again. I pay 3 to cast 1000-year Elixir. I discard an Angel of Runes, and draw a card. I pay 2 to cast a Boros Signet. I discard a Plains and draw a card. I then pass a turn. Jack untaps, draws. Jack taps 4 to cast Padim Consul of Innovation. He pays a Sentinel Totem. And when it enters, he tries 1. Jack then passes. On Jack's end step, Alec taps 5 to activate Urza. Jack then proceeds to be irritating and is told to cut 27 cards down. Alec then counts out 27 cards, where to cut his library for the Urza. Alec then reveals a Leafkin Druid from the Urza activation. Also on his end step, Alec casts 1000-year Elixir. I then sacrifice my 1000-year Elixir to my commander and also my Ichor Wellspring, and I draw a card. Alec untaps, Draws. Alec casts White Main Lion, which triggers Chulane. He draws a card. Puts a land into play. Bouncing a White Main Lion back to his hand. And he makes a 3/3 beast from Primeval Bounty. Alec taps Lightning Greaves to cast Shrieking Drake. He draws a card, makes a beast. Alec casts Neoform, sacrificing Leafkin Druid. And he finds a creature for 3 CMC. Alec finds a Reclamation Sage. Alec then destroys Scrap Trawler. And I do not return anything with Scrap Trawlers, so I don't have a 2 CMC or less artifact inside my graveyard. Alec taps 2, recasts out Shrieking Drake, makes a beast, draws a card, puts a land into play. He gains 1 life and has it enter untapped, so he just takes 2, gains 3, so he gains 1 in total. Shrieking Drake then goes back to his hand. He then does it again. Draw a card, put a land into play, making a beast. Alec then does White Main Lion again, makes a beast, puts a land into play, draws a card, gains 3 life. Alec then returns the White Main Lion back to his hand. He then passes, I untap, draw. I cast the Healy's Directive X equals 8. A ham sandwich arrives. I then exile the top X cards in my library, and I can put any number of artifact cards with CMC X or less onto the battlefield, and the rest go into my graveyard. I get an Ancient Den, a Bronze Guardian, a Sculpting Steel, and the rest go in my graveyard. I then have Sculpting Steel into the battlefield of Bronze Guardian. So all my artifacts have Ward 4. I discard a card and draw a card with, and then discard another card and draw a card with Quicksmith Genius. I then discard another card and draw a card. I then pass the turn. I've taken a bite out of his ham sandwich. He untaps, draws, Jack taps 6, and casts Cathopter Assembly, and then passes. Alec then activates Urza again. Alec flips the top card, and reveals a Rampaging Baloth, which he gets to cast without paying its mana cost. Alec draws a card with Chulane, puts the land into play, and gains 3 life. I makes a 3/3 beast. Alec casts Shrieking Drake 3 times, drawing 3, putting 3 lands into play, making 3 4/4 beasts, making 3 3/3 beasts. Alec taps 7 to cast Grand Arbiter. Alec casts Arisen Reef, reveals a top card. It's a land, so he puts it on the battlefield. He gains 3 more life. He makes a beast. Then he passes. I untap. I draw for turn. I ask Jack politely not to exile my graveyard. I sacrifice Boris Signet, Bronze Guardian, and Sculpting Steel to Osgir. I pay 5 to cast Scrap Mastery. I sacrifice a Wellspring. Ancient Den also gets sacrificed before, so I get it back with Scrap Mastery. Jack makes a Golem Foundry, then all of his artifacts get sacrificed. Then all my artifacts come back to the battlefield. Revenge of Ruins. I exile Primeval Bounty. I let cast Systemic Charm to give all his creatures hexproof. He puts 3+1/+1 counters on a creature. I pay 4 to cast Solemn Simulacrum. I search my library for a basic land card. I find a mountain and put on the battlefield tapped. I then pass the turn. Jack untaps and draws. He taps 3 to cast Sky Scanner. Also plays a Clockwork Servant, draws a card. Jack passes. Alec untaps and draws. He casts Incubation. Looks at top 5 cards of his library. He casts an Omen Speaker, scries 2, puts the land into play. Alec casts Shrieking Drake, draws a card, puts the land into play, gains 3 life, makes a beast, makes a 3/3 beast. Alec says he thinks we can get back from this. He does Shrieking Drake again. However, I do not have the same opinion. I think we've definitely lost to Alec. Alec is now on 81 life, which is a bit ridiculous. Alec activates Urza again. Alec reveals a mana breach. Alec can now make infinite mana by casting Shrieking Drake. He can then play a land with Chulane, and then Mana Breach will bounce the land back to his hand, and Shrieking Drake will bounce itself to his hand. And you can tap the land for mana. And he gets to draw his whole deck. He casts Overwhelming Stampede. All of his creatures get plus something stupid, plus something stupid. And he's got 20 tokens, so he'll die to trample damage. Thank you for watching that game. That was a very powerful game. Alec won with an infinite combo. I wasn't expecting that. I personally thought I was going to win with all the stuff I had. However, Alec, and also with all of his stuff, gained from the Primeval Bounty, which is the card of the game, the amount of value that card got him, the amount of life, +1/+1 counters, creatures he got from it, was just absolutely insane and works incredibly well with Chulane. Overall, play was very good. There weren't too many mistakes, apart from Jack playing an extra land, or 2 lands in 1 turn early on in the game. And I feel a bit sorry for Jack, who had his commander stolen for the whole game. He couldn't really do much. He didn't try any interaction. I tried to give it back to him because I wanted to feel nice, but unfortunately, I didn't have anything to get rid of the Rubinia. So overall, that's a pretty good game. If you enjoyed, remember to like and subscribe. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.